Hello, St. Joseph. You've heard me say so many times that I am proud to be your pastor. And I'm proud for so many reasons. Not because you're just a wonderful group of people who I just have the awesome privilege to lead and shepherd, but also because I have the opportunity to pastor a very historic church in the city of Mobile. A church full of rich history, a church full of great people. This church will, in this coming year, will be 97 years old. What a tremendous milestone. And I come to you today to share with you some things I want us to begin to tackle and accomplish in 2021. As you know, Dr. Carlisle, our esteemed pastor for over 33 years, accomplished a lot in his tenure. He was the fine pastor that brought us to this very location in 1972. Some of the things he accomplished was bringing on the first women to our trustee board, updating our sound system to state-of-the-art sound system with taping capabilities. And back then, that was something impressive. We had a computer lab for our youth. We also had several musicians and a minister of music. In 1979, our sanctuary was damaged and then it was repaired and refurnished with the furniture we have now. So as you see, when you just recall and reflect on what Dr. Carlisle did in his 33 years of pastoring St. Joseph, there are just some benchmarks we need to simply get back to. And then under Dr. Taylor, he came at a time we needed him the most, to love on us, to put us back together again. We had experienced a traumatic hurt, traumatic split, just a traumatic experience. So he came and brought structure to us. Also under his leadership, we purchased a bookstore that I can proudly say is paid off. So we are absolutely debt-free. That's a blessing, St. Joseph. Last year, October and November, I began a teaching series called From Here to There. And we looked at Acts chapter 10. And then that we saw how Cornelius went from being a just devout Christian to being a spirit-filled man. His household became spirit-filled because of Peter. And we talked about going from here to there in the spirit, being not just a church that does things, formalities, and does things out of religious activity, but being a church that is spirit-filled and led by the Spirit of God. And in saying that, we cannot begin to birth things in the spirit and still look the same in the natural. One of the greatest joys as pastor is to see lives be transformed, to see people delivered, set free from bondage, and to really live and walk out the plans of God. And if you recall when you got saved, there were some things about you that looked different. There was a great appearance that people could see that something in your life has changed. And Jesus was the difference. As we have began to birth things in the spirit, begin to make that transition, it's time for us now to begin to make some physical changes, to begin to look different. In October and November, I've seen God move in St. Joseph like I've never seen him move before. And I know for some of you, you're like, well, how is that possible? We weren't even having typical service. Au contraire, we were having parking lot service. We were having prayer meeting. We were having a prayer call every day at 12 o'clock noon. And we had a conference, a 3-day in-person conference. And God moved. I've seen God touch lives. I've seen God do deliverance in lives of people right here at St. Joseph. I'm excited about that. As I said earlier, we cannot continue to birth things in the spirit and not begin to look different in the natural. With that being said, I want to roll out our 2021 capital improvement projects. That's a fancy way of saying we're about to update and renovate. As you heard me say, Dr. Carlisle moved us to this building in 1972. Not a whole lot has changed in almost 50 years. When you walk into this building, it looks almost identical to the day we moved into this building in 1972. As you take a stroll with me, we walk through the halls, you may even see furniture that was probably bought when we moved in this building in 1972. So go with me if you will, as we walk through this list of capital improvement projects for 2021. So now the $1 million question is, how much is all this going to cost, and how are we going to make it happen? I'm glad you asked, because that's where you come in.